In the first part we will find the height of the mountain Jebel Nur in Mecca and the height of Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, in the verses in the Quran. In the second part, we will see how the tilt of the earth to the plane, 23 degrees 26 minutes 26 feet 11.3 inches, is given, and also how the tilt of the earth looks from space. The Quran is the holy book of Muslims. We have already found some golden ratio ciphers in this book. We continue our research. In this video we will talk about a few topics that we have found in the Quran. The Quran is a holy book with 6,237 verses or chapters and 114 main sections. If there is any encryption in this book, we will try to find it. First of all, let's look at Surah Isra in the Quran. This is the 17th surah from the beginning of the Quran, and it contains 111 verses or chapters. The one we are interested in is verse 37. Surah Isra, verse 37 reads, "Do not walk arrogantly on the earth. You will never split the earth and reach the mountains in height." The part of this sentence that interests us is, don't walk proudly on the earth, you can't reach the mountains in height, and we are not touching the part in the middle of the sentence for now. We will explain it later in other videos. The Quran is a book that was written about 1,400 years ago. The Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet of the Muslims, was born in the city of Mecca in what is now Saudi Arabia. So let's assume that this address was delivered to the Prophet or to people in Mecca. What is important for us is in which city this address was delivered. So the fact that it was made in Mecca is important for us. Mecca is built on a valley called Ban-e-Mecca. The area where the Kaaba is located is 280 meters above sea level. The city is surrounded by mountains such as Jabal al-Nur, Mount Nur, Jabal al-Abikibes, Jabal al-Qubis, and Jabal al-Sur. The highest mountain in Mecca is Jabal al-Sur with a height of 760 meters. However, we are interested in Jabal al-Nur because it is the mountain from which Prophet Muhammad ascended, and it is located inside the city of Mecca, while the rest are outside the city of Mecca. Of the monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which are considered holy and celestial, there has always been a holy mountain at the beginning. In Judaism it is the Mount of Tur, in Christianity it is the Mount of Olives, in Islam it is the Mount of Jabal Nur. Now let's go back to verse 37 of Surah Isra, Surah 17 of the Quran. What it says, don't walk proudly on the earth. Let's accept that this walking starts in Mecca, and then it goes on to say that you cannot reach the mountains in height. Yes, there is a message and a secret here. It could mean that you cannot reach the height of the highest mountain in Mecca. So this verse should give us a height. The height of Jabal-i-Nur mountain above sea level is stated as 629 meters. However, some sources also show the height of the mountain as 642 meters or 577 meters. These differences may be due to differences in the measurement methods and reference points used. Today, measurements taken from the starting point of the trail leading to Jabal-i-Nur mountain to the summit indicate 629 meters. However, it is also important which exact point on the mountain is considered to be the height above sea level and which measurement method was used. Therefore, it is natural that different sources give different altitude values. As a result, the height of Jabal-i-Nur mountain is considered to be 629 meters. Putting a point here for now, let's move on to the highest point on Earth. We're heading to the Himalayas in Asia. Brief information about Mount Everest. Top of the world. Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world at 8,843 meters. It is located in the Himalayas, on the border of Nepal and China. It is also known as Sagarmatha, Nepali, and Komolungma, Tibetan. Climbing. The summit was first climbed in 1953 by Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. Since then, more than 5,000 people have climbed to the summit. Climbing to the summit is very difficult and dangerous. Climbers face many risks such as asphyxiation, hypothermia, and avalanches. There are many glaciers around the mountain, such as the Khumbu Glacier. The Sherpa people live in the area. The summit of Mount Everest is one of the coldest and windiest places in the world. The air temperature at the summit of the mountain can drop to -60 degrees Celsius. The oxygen level at the summit of Mount Everest is about 1/3 of sea level. K2, the second highest mountain in the world, is also located near Mount Everest. Mount Everest remains one of humanity's greatest adventures. After a brief overview, let's take a look at the available data. The highest mountain within the borders of Mecca is Jabal-e-Nur mountain at 629 meters, while the highest mountain in the world is Everest mountain in the Himalayas at 8,843 meters, Himalayar Everest Dajai 8,843 meter. Let's move on to our calculation. Surah Isra Surah 17, verse number 37. Total number of verses is 111. If we multiply the surah number 17 by the number of verses, we get the number 17 times 37 is equal to 629. This number gives the height of the Jabal-e-Nur mountain in Mecca from the sea. That is, if we consider the height of the Jabal-e-Nur mountain from the sea as between verse 1 and verse 37, there should be 111 minus 37 is equal to 74 verses left before it reaches the top of Everest. Multiplying 111 by the difference of 74 verses, we get the number 111 times 74 is equal to 8,214. This is the distance of Everest from the top of Mount Mecca to the summit. So 17 times 37 is equal to 629. 74 times 111 is equal to 8,214. 8214 plus 629 gives us the number 8843. By saying here that you cannot reach the mountains in height, he means that you can neither reach the 629-meter Jabali mountain in Mecca, nor can you reach the summit of Everest if you climb above it. The conclusion we have drawn: 8214 plus Jabal-e-Nur mountain height equal 8,843 meters is the height of Everest. The subtlety of this verse is that it gives the height of Mt Mecca and Mt Everest together.